We run into all sorts of people when we agitate on college campuses.
Too cold, too stupid, shut the fuck up.
I'm gonna find the delete us button.
Normally the pushback we get is in response to our political goal of abolishing abortion.
It's my choice. This is anger and hatred of women.
Criminalize it. That's kind of strange.
But sometimes we encounter women who have a much more personal reason to engage with us.
Take a pill.
I've done it.
So I've taken my plan doing stuff.
I had an abortion.
We know that abortion's murder, but should we tell these women that they're murderers?
Well, I mean, the proposition here is like someone finds out they're pregnant, says, I don't want to be pregnant. They're with child, you know. They get online, they order a pill, then they receive the pill, then they take a pill.
I've done it.
Right. So that's murder with malice aforethought. So in the legal situation, it's you chose to terminate a child.
Because I'm not going to remember.
Right.
So you had to?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry. Why'd you have to?
I don't want to have my rapist child.
So
I feel like that's a valid reason.
did the rapist get punished?
No, he got to walk away free
Why is that?
because I didn't know his name.
It was
I didn't know anything about him. I didn't know his name.
so it was a violent assault.
Yeah.
And so you went and ordered a pill. I'm just trying to understand.
Yes,
I don't want
I
to
did.
speak about it unless I
did.
understand what you're saying. So you found out you conceived a child.
I'll
Correct.
get you when I can get it to you.
You didn't know how to track down the rapist.
Too much is
Correct.
happening right now.
And so instead of carrying the child,
Correct. I decided to terminate it.
you bought a pill and killed him.
I bought the 2 pills that you take to terminate it.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. So you,
And I'm not regretful. I'm not sorry about it. I am a
Right.
believer of Jesus Christ. I come from a Catholic family.
so
This is one thing I just don't agree with.
So okay, that's fine. I'm trying to make sure I understand your story. So what I would say, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ too. Not Catholic, but I do follow Christ. And I do believe that Jesus has revealed in his word that he knits together children in the womb.
I believe that too, but I feel like
And even when they're conceived in rape.
no,
Okay.
I like.
And so when you ordered that pill and you took that pill, you answered evil with evil.
Alt right.
An evil thing had been done to you. I don't know the circumstances of it,
Yeah, I remember my mom. No,
but someone had attacked you and assaulted you against your will. I'm assuming
Right.
something like that.
yeah.
You took the pill, you attacked and assaulted an image bearer, and you killed them.
That's just not how I see it though.
Well, I'm saying
the answer is
Christ was building a baby inside of your womb.
Correct.
over it.
The means by which the baby was conceived was evil.
Right.
So you answered evil with evil,
No,
and that child was murdered.
It's really crazy.
Do you think what
I'll see you at the
that
next one.
man did to you was wrong?
Yes, 1000%.
Okay, so I think what you did to your baby was wrong
I'm sorry you see that.
because it was the same thing.
I'm sorry you see that.
And the good news is that I can stand here and tell you that you disagree with that, but I can tell you that if you come into agreement with God and say, you know what, I answered evil with evil, I did to another human being what was done to me,
Okay.
and confess it as sin, and don't call it good, confess it as sin and say, you know what, I sinned, I murdered a child, that Christ
But it
is
wasn't
good
really
enough.
a child, yeah.
Well, a human being, an image bearer. So you said you follow Jesus. That's what I'm speaking to you. It says that before, like we're in our mother's wombs, and he knows us, right?
Correct.
You know those verses, right? So we don't pop into existence when we come out of the birth control. Like he designed it. Like when Christ himself entered the womb, Mary's womb, how did he was conceived by the Holy Spirit?
Yeah.
He was a human zygote. And then he was a human blastocyst, morula, implanted, developed. He was a human fetus, and then he was born, right?
Correct.
So Jesus spent 9 months in the womb, 10 months in the womb.
Correct.
So Jesus was the Son of God, God, very God, second person of the Trinity, in the womb of Mary, in the exact time, size, shape, makeup as the baby that you murdered.
Okay.
Because the baby that you murdered was actually post-implanted. Because, right, is that what you said? Because you took 2 pills.
That's what a medical abortion is. You take two.
Yeah, so you took 2 pills. So your baby was an embryo at whatever, 4 to 6 weeks or something like that. I'm just guessing.
Right.
Just generally speaking. So Christ himself was there in that place. So Christians, we do believe that that is a human being made in the image of God, and that if we shed the blood of a human being, we're doing something that God hates. It says in his word that he hates those who shed innocent blood. Calls it murder and says that it has to be confessed and forgiven.
Okay.
So I just get to be I'm not trying to be mean. I just get to be the one who tells you this.
No, I understand. It's interesting.
Instead of denying it, because denying it won't make it untrue.
Yeah, I have to go do a project.
Just please don't laugh it off. I'm not laughing. All right. I'm praying for you.
While some may attempt to sear their conscience by laughing off their sin, others wear their bruised conscience on their sleeve, seeking to paint any and everyone but themselves as guilty.
Fine with that woman making that decision for an abortion, but I think that you're looking at it from such a limited viewpoint that you don't understand what that abortion could mean. Like, she could be entirely cast out from her social circles.
Yeah, so she's aborting it to protect herself from the sin and the judgment and the shame.
From the sin, I mean, you call it sin.
Well, the
but
shame, the guilt. I meant to say shame.
Consensual adults shouldn't be sin. It's exactly that kind of idea that encourages abortions. People being I'm going to be judged for this.
Yeah.
Like, I was raped when I was 18 years old, right? And I became pregnant, and I had an abortion.
Did you punish the rapist?
No.
Just the child?
Well, I'm sorry that I didn't want to literally go through the traumatic experience of...
My friend's going through that
Wait, you didn't want to go through the traumatic experience of punishing... No, the rapist.
I was literally a child when I was raped, and I didn't want to tell my entire
how old are you?
I was like 17.
Okay, so you're saying that you were, so a wicked man took advantage of you, I would say sinned against you, sinned against God, assaulted you, raped you against your will, and impregnated you.
Yes.
And you did not.
My job was.
You didn't want to go through the ordeal of punishing him?
Are you actually going to shame me about that right now?
No, I'm not shaming you. I'm saying you didn't want to punish him.
You want to shame me about my decision to not go through?
No, I'm saying you didn't protect
my rapist with coming up to people and getting the police involved.
I don't want to call it shaming.
So that I could be.
People will say that it's her fault.
Yeah,
don't you hate rape though?
By my Christian community because
no.
If I had
Hey, calm down. I'm saying don't you oppose rape?
Calm down.
Do you oppose rape?
I do oppose. Obviously, I oppose rape. I'm the one who has been raped here. You're the one that's telling me I did the wrong thing.
Do you think rapists should be punished?
Comfortable enough.
Do you think rapists should be punished?
Because of people like you.
I wasn't there. Do you think rapists should be punished?
Yes, obviously.
But it's not always feasible.
I can't go back in time and be like, oh, little girl, be stronger.
The reason I sympathize with you. I totally actually get what you're saying.
You sympathize with me.
I'm saying I understand what you're saying.
You just told me.
Because I want to set it up.
I did.
I want to set it up.
As a child, because I didn't go after my rapist.
No, I want to set this up so I can say this. We live in a culture.
You're saying that is what he said too.
Listen, we live in.
You beefed this one big time, guy.
No. I'm wanting to tell you this.
You're really good at this.
Thank you. I'm wanting to tell you, we live in a culture that is so bloodthirsty towards preborn human beings and so unjust that we actually, when someone is raped, put so much shame on that person that they don't think, I need to pursue justice against this rapist. I need to go. They actually go get the abortion.
In your perfect world, in your worldview, I as a child have
in
to
the
have
world,
gone through with
in
that
the world
pregnancy.
that I want to deal, the world that I want to see is a world of justice.
That's not going to end rape.
Abortion.
Yeah.
One second.
I think what he's trying to get at is he thinks that you should go at the root of the problem, which is the rapist, rather than the product.
No, I understand that, but it's still my life. It's still now I have to be a 17-year-old
exactly.
mother
But the
for a
bigger
choice
thing.
I didn't make.
Let me just. I just want to say this. I don't think if you heard what I was saying, you'd be mad at me. I know you're think that I'm going to say something. Try to imagine. I think that our culture has fostered a situation where rapists, because of all of the other examples, are rapists, and they rely on abortion to help them not be punished. And I think you've outlined exactly the sort of thing that happens over and over and over in this country. And there are men who love raping and aborting and all this stuff.
The church protected my rapist. Do you know who I actually did tell about getting raped?
Yeah.
My youth group leader. And you know what he did?
Yeah.
He took him out to breakfast to have a conversation about his sexual sin.
Well, yeah, and he should. Hey, let me tell you,
So
I'm not your youth minister. I think your youth minister sinned.
Who should have been
Yes.
doing the protecting? The church should have been doing the protecting.
Definitely,
not me.
definitely.
I'm not the one that
church, your
Okay.
dad, yourself, men, everyone should have been doing.
men. Okay.
Men should have. Men failed. I'm saying our culture is whack. Whenever someone's in your situation, we just want to like avoid that and go over here and hope that you go kill the baby. And that is a tragedy.
It's clear that harboring the guilt and shame of the sin of abortion can impair one's ability to engage in respectful dialogue. But not everyone responds with such hostility. Some even hear us out.
I understand the murder part, but I also think you just have choice to do it.
Choice to murder.
Yeah, 'cause not like murder. I think that's kind of an extreme way to like say it. Because I think
Killing is different.
Well, the reason we call it murder, I technically just believe like the non-sensationalist, it is murder. I just believe it's murder. Like in the sense of, I think I have another, like this one, like, whew. So taking a pill to terminate a baby is murder with malice aforethought, because you essentially, you find out you're pregnant. And this could refer to something like Plan B, but the problem with Plan B is you don't know if you're pregnant. Some people debate, is it murder? Well, for it to be murder, you've got to have malice aforethought. That's what separates sort of like purposeful killing from, intentional killing, which is murder, from accidental killing, manslaughter. So malice aforethought is, you take a pregnancy test, you look at it, it says you're pregnant, and you're like, I'm with child. I don't want to be with child. So you get online. I live in pro-life Oklahoma. How do I can get abortion pills. Order abortion pills. You ordered them because you wanted to not be with child. They came in the mail. You open the package. You put the pill in your mouth. You took the first pill, took the second pill, terminated the baby. And then, you go through the process of that. That is malice aforethought, to make sure that that human being no longer exists. So in the technical sense, it's murder. So I call it murder that way for that reason. But the other one is, I think the sign that I had out here when you were here, or when you first walked up, the reason I call it murder is because the primary reason it is murder, but the reason that I wouldn't just be like, oh, I think it's murder, but I'll keep it to myself, is because so many people have done this that I want them to know that it is wrong, it is bad, but they can be forgiven for it. And the way to be forgiven for it is you have to actually come into agreement with God. That was murder. Even if, I'm not trying to be mean, even in your case, you don't know.
yeah.
But there's murder in your heart. Like, take the Plan B, because in the event that there is a conceived human, you don't want that human to attach or to implant, because then they'll continue to grow and then you have to change their diapers. So that's like a murderous intention, whether it happened or not. But say it has happened, or it's just in your heart. Jesus says, if you murder someone in your heart, you murdered him. So there's an interesting thing there. But you've murdered a child and you know it, that is still something that you can look at the cross of Christ and say, that's why he died.
That's the current sin.
Because that is a sin that God hates, that must be punished, or there's no justice. And he took the punishment for that. And so you can confess the sin to Christ and give it to him And he says he's faithful and righteous to forgive you your sin and your trespass. It's a trespass. It's murder. But there's nothing in the Bible that says that a murderer cannot be forgiven for murder. But a murderer who says, it wasn't a murder, it was just a clump of cells. Well, they're not giving it to him to be forgiven. They're holding on to it.
So that's why that argument's kind of hard. Because I do, like, I will confess, like, that's not the problem. Because I understand why it's murder, but I think abortion should still be, like, a choice that people can make, because if you don't, then they'll find other, it's like humans will find other ways to do it. If one option's taken away and taken away.
Yeah, we find ways to do evil things that are illegal. But that doesn't mean we should make them
It could harm the person because they don't have that choice to be safe.
Well, before talking about that, the more important thing, you say like you're religious and you can confess. When I say, just in case, when I say confess, I don't mean like go tell somebody, you know, like in a priest type situation. I mean just like between you and God, it's like giving that to him by saying and acknowledging that it was evil, that it was sin, that you're not confused about it, that it wasn't something that was done to you, but it was something that you did, and that you're sorry for it, and that you regret it, and that you know that you should be punished, and saying, forgive me. It's like, have mercy upon me, I'm a sinner, you know? And so I just think that is, like when people say, what's the gospel? That's the gospel. It's good news. It's good news that, all right, thank you. It's good news because people are dying in their sin and you don't have to. But some people will hear there's forgiveness for the sin of abortion, but out of pride, they won't even admit that they need that forgiveness. So,
as we've seen, the response of post-abortive women to being told that what they've done is in fact murder varies quite a bit. What doesn't vary, though, is what our response should be: earnest prayer for repentance and redemption. While it can be easy to simply condemn the truly wicked acts of these women, I'd encourage you, the viewer, to personally take a moment to pray for these women, that they might repent, be washed in the blood of Christ.